Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Breakfast with Bobby. I am your co host, Christina, and I'm here with my lovely friend, Bobby. And I keep running out of air. Sorry about that. It's summer allergy season and deep breaths. All right. What you got to say, Bobby?
Hey, good morning, everyone. Oh, if only you knew what happens before we push the button here. It's kind of amazing. I'll spare you the ridiculous details. Anyway, the one of the things that I wanted to talk about today was, of course, Christina was talking about her allergies and all that, and um, being summer and being affected by energy and being affected by a number of outside sources. I wanted to let you know, you and I hadn't had a chance to talk about this, but I know yesterday you were aware that I wasn't feeling well. And I've learned, I was actually trying out a new technique, a new healing technique, releasing kind of stuff, and it's emotional release. So I wanted to pick your brain really to see
Okay.
what you do and how you do it. But let me just tell you what I was doing.
Awesome.
Um, the there is a wheel, an emotional wheel, words on a wheel of, on a paper with all these descriptive words. And so the main emotions are in the middle, and then it breaks off to all of these other things that drill down into, say the word sadness. And are you, it's albeit it's hypothetically a positive, it's a positive word because it's productive.
Right.
Anyway, to spare you all the ridiculous details. So I was playing with that, and you know that I had a really bad case of sciatica, and still it sort of appears and disappears and gets better and worse and stuff. And I equated it to I've had it for about a year and a half and started when I was sitting a lot, and it got progressively got worse. So because of the situation, it really became more what I would term as an emotional type of feeling. And I was curious to figure out why and what that really was. So as I was researching my body and picking out where the emotions are and being Reiki attuned, that's part of what we do. We sense energy, we feel it, we release it, we help it go somewhere. So that being said, as I put my hand on where the pain was, where the emotion was, I immediately got the name of a person. And so started to drill down into that. And as I was, again, the technique was to pull the energy out. And so if you take your hands and put it on a place on your body that you feel is compromised, or you're feeling pain or emotion or whatever, if you put your hands on it and picture your hands as a magnet, and suck all of that energy out, and it becomes attached to your hands, then you're able to release it, and more of a clapping kind of whatever, and you
Hmm.
flick it out. So what I was doing was trying to release some old trauma from my body, and realized that, it was a family member type of thing in a place on my body. And as I was pulling it out, I could feel tension building up in this area. So I
Hmm.
would stop and then wait for that to subside and then pull it a little bit further and a little bit further. Pretty soon it became a little bit a feeling of like the tension of a rubber band. And so as I got to a certain place, my body started to tingle and it was able to be released. And so consequently, I was pretty enamored with all of that, going, okay, let's do that again. What else can I do?
Yeah.
And I was pretty excited about all of that. So I started to pull energy out of areas of my body that have been there for a while. So the end result of that was yesterday I was really very tired.
Hmm.
Of course, I had a headache. So I did all of my healing techniques, including going to a chiropractor and getting myself adjusted so I could zero in on what that really was. But the question that I have for you, because it was such a profound experience for me,
Hmm.
do you do any of that? How do you practice healing on yourself? Because, in to become a healer, first you have to know how to heal yourself, and then you
Right.
can help other people. So
Right.
I'm just curious if you've had experience with that.
Um, I have had experience with releasing energy. I do like that magnet idea, though. I've not heard that before. I like that magnet idea. Normally, what I do, like when I have a headache, is anybody who's familiar with Benny Hill is going to recognize this. But I put my hand upside down, like on top of the affected area, and on top of my head is easy to demonstrate. And what that does is it pulls out the energy and sends it off to cosmic recycling. So it's kind of the same concept, except I'm not using it like a magnet to pull out. I'm just releasing it like this. Now, there are parts of your body you're not going to be able to do that on, or where it's going to be uncomfortable to turn your hand upside down. I like the idea of the magnet. Um, so I did want to also address, like you said yesterday, you felt like you didn't have much energy, you had a headache. The thing is that when we pull out energy, even if it's been stuck energy, we have to replace it.
What do you do for that? The idea was the instruction on this particular lesson was replace it with your own energy.
Right. Or Reiki.
Okay.
Give yourself Reiki. Yeah.
Are you able to feel that when you're filling yourself back up? Or is it
What
something that you,
yes, but it's more that I'm feeling less drained. Do you see what I'm saying? Like it's not like I'm feeling, oh, I've got this great rush of energy. It's more like, all right, I'm leveling out.
okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
It's more subtle. It's not like a big rush of energy, but it is replacement. And the universe abhors a void, does not like a void.
Yeah.
So you're better to decide, what kind of energy do I want to replace this with? If you're pulling out energy that's been stuck or is negative or heavy or whatever, you want to replace that energy yourself with intention. Like, what do you want it to feel like? That's that's what I was always taught. And my spirit guides really reinforce that with me a lot. Like, make sure that if you're going to remove energy, that you replace it with intention.
Right. Otherwise, it sort of fills up with whatever you have left in your body and it just sort of spreads out,
Or
right?
whatever's in your environment that you're soaking up,
Hmm.
which
Yeah, I
is
think
something I think that we sometimes don't pay attention to in terms of healing. But, our environments affect us. The
oh,
ener-
right.
and yeah, the energy around us affects us. But when we're in the thought process of healing, we don't always think about the environment that we're in. So if we're at home and we're healing and there's, negativity coming out of the TV, or there's, leftover energy from a disagreement, or just stagnant because you haven't cleared it out in a while,
Hmm.
that our bodies will absorb that. So we have to be careful about that. If we're going to replace energy, be intentional about it.
I think we are more uh, sponge-like than we let on, and I
I think
think
so
it
too.
needs to be. Um, you need to be ever conscious of what's going on. It,
Mhm.
being empathic is not all it's cracked up to be, and sometimes I become way too sensitive.
Yeah.
The 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 lesson in all of this was obviously to replace the energy. The other thing was I couldn't believe how tired I was, and after I came home from the chiropractor, uh, drank some water. I couldn't think of anything else to do other than sleep, and that's all I really wanted to do.
That's what your
So
body needed. It needed to repair itself.
that was huge. I couldn't, it was such an overwhelmingly tired feeling. I thought perhaps I was getting sick, but it didn't feel like sick. It just felt tired.
Mhm.
Um, so that being said, I think that we take for granted what's going on around us and are not really paying attention to a lot of our surroundings. So what I did today was I spent the morning doing a little bit of a ritual, but in addition to that, I cleansed myself. I smudged myself, and then I smudged the house, and of course my office here. And it was another surprising thing about how sensitive all of a sudden I was to even walking through a doorway. And I could feel and sense the change in energy from one room to another.
Yeah.
Um,
We are a lot more, and the more that we're reaching into the higher realms of energy, the more energy sensitive we become. And I am going to bring this up, even though this won't be aired until the 12th. Today is the 8th. It is the
Yes.
888 portal. It is the
Yes.
Lionsgate portal. The energy is really flowing today, and it's really important to remember now. And I don't remember what the end date is, but like for at least a week, the kind of things that we're thinking about, the kinds of things that we're healing, the intention we're putting into everything. Right now, it's super, super high. And we just need to pay attention to those things.
This is more of a positive kind of
Yes,
effect.
absolutely. But to remember to remain positive, remember to remind ourselves to be positive.
Is this a time to release, or is this a time to fill ourselves up?
Fill ourselves up mostly. The call that I was on earlier with the clubhouse, that was it was about the 888 portal and how many of us over the last 2 weeks have been releasing.
Mm,
And then coming into the portal today, where it's the most open, is today. That it is really, I could feel the energy rushing. I feel like I've been downloading since I woke up this morning, spiritual downloads and energy downloads, information downloads. I have no idea where this is all going, but it's been a lot of like incoming information. I feel like there's a funnel on top of my head, just
mm,
just filling up with energy, but it all feels good. It's just a lot.
mm. Well, my other thought too was because I was tired, was I downloading something? And I'm not sure I know the what that feels like. At least in yesterday, I didn't know.
Right.
Perhaps today I'm considering it. So something must have happened.
Well, that's kind of what it feels like to me. Is really tired, can't really focus on much of anything. It's hard to get my eyes to focus on much of anything. Um,
Oh, I was like that all day.
yeah, a little lightheaded, maybe, just kind of like I just need to go to sleep because I'm
Yeah.
not doing anything else.
I I struggled to form a complete sentence that made sense. And
Yeah.
I was like, you probably shouldn't be driving, Bobby. This is not a good idea.
Sounds like downloading to me.
Ugh,
At least that's the way I experience it. Different people do experience it differently. So I don't want to put out the idea that the way it works for me is the only way it works. It works differently for different people.
mm. Yeah, there's so many variations of
Mhm.
how energy affects people.
Right,
We have to really discover how it affects us in what ways.
right, right.
It's kind of
And
a funny.
releasing the releasing that I did last week with that last little nugget of shame that was stuck in my solar plexus chakra uh,
Mm.
has just opened up doors, like
Oh, how
immediately
fabulous.
opened up doors,
Oh
like
my gosh.
opportunities coming in that I never would have dreamed of, So, and I do want to say, some people have mentioned that I wear a lot of yellow lately. It's because I chose a signature color of yellow. So when I'm doing anything where I'm in the public eye, I'm wearing yellow. Well, yellow is the color of the solar plexus. It kicked off a cleansing. It kicked
Oh
off a
yeah.
healing. Color therapy.
Mm.
I totally forgot about color therapy, but it's been an amazing thing too because it not only like cleared out that chakra, it's also strengthening that chakra. So more confidence, more
Yeah.
more feeling good about what I'm doing, who I am, all of that. So moving forward with that, it's like, wow, okay, so now I have this opportunity to be on a panel at a Paracon I didn't even know I was going to go to.
Mm.
A new show that popped up out of nowhere, like literally just boom, there it was, dropped in my lap out of nowhere. So different opportunities that have presented themselves for me to move forward in what I do and the messages that I carry. And I had to get rid of that one little last nugget that was
Yeah.
preventing me from
Yeah.
doing that.
You know, in order to put more in your cup, you have to release something out of the cup first
Right,
in order to fill
right.
it back up. So, speaking of that and your opportunities, did you want to talk about your opportunities? I know that you have a couple of things going on,
Oh,
and
a
I'm
big thing. It's a big
I'm so proud of you and I'm so happy for you, and
thank you.
which will bring us to another subject. Not necessarily the reason we're doing it, but it does affect us. And I
Yeah.
know we're going to be uh, we're going to be doing our shows twice a month, the first and the third week of Monday. It'll drop.
Mhm.
And so I'm going to let Christina take care of what she wants to announce to you guys because it's so exciting and I'm so proud of her. So please let me know. Tell me what you're doing because I
Thank
don't know everything. I don't know all of what you do.
I know I sent you the graphic, which has not been put out yet because we don't have a solid date, but sometime mid-October, I will be launching a new show on Zone 5 Radio, which is based in London. It's all online. It is a music station, and they're adding in a category of talk radio called High Strangeness. And right, it fits right in, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I am one of the ground floor people getting in on that with a new show. And my new show, I don't know when it'll be released yet. So as soon as I have that information, I will be letting people know, like on what day that's going to drop or whatever. It will be a pre-recorded show, and it will be weekly. Um, but the show is called, I love this, Paramystic Christina is the name of the show. And I don't know, it just came to me. I was just sitting there meditating. I'm like, that's it. That's the name of the show. And so I'm very excited about it. It will be kind of a combination of all kinds of high strangeness. So some psychic stuff, some UFO stuff, some paranormal stuff, some, uh, what do you call that? Astral travel, different types
Oh,
of meditation, and how to reach different ways of alternative consciousness.
oh my gosh. That
Yeah,
sounds so exciting. So this is based in London. So
it's
I
all
remember,
online, but yeah, it's based in
yes, yes. So they kind of called you up and said, "Hey, Paramystic Christina,
London. Well, just someone
have we
had seen
got
one
something
of our
for
shows.
you?"
I believe someone had seen one of our shows and
Oh,
liked my voice,
wow. Who knew?
right? I don't get it because I have my mom's voice. So when somebody tells me that I have a smoky voice or an alluring voice, I'm like, no, I sound like my mom. That's not possible because I sound like my mom. So,
So I probably shouldn't ask you. So, what's your interpretation of your mom's voice?
she's my mom. Like it's a mom voice.
A mom voice. Oh,
I mean, like that's my interpretation. It's a mom voice. So yeah, I'm amused and curious about how that's interpreted. But yeah, I'm very excited about that show. And
well, you have such a tendency of just being, um, you have a very even keel in your voice, and it appears to be, I don't want to downplay the control aspect, but your emotions and your vibration are always even keel and in control. And I think you don't get rattled easily. And that being said, um, it has to be really, really, really funny for you to laugh at it and really, really, really bad for you to go, holy cow, and react to it.
yeah,
So the ability to do that is such a gift. And over time, you've learned very well from your mentors and whoever else you've been working with. So, congratulations on all of that. That's very
thank
cool.
you. Thank you. I'm very excited about that. Yeah.
Well, speaking of mystics and
Hmm.
stuff, I know the next show that we have on the 19th, is it? The 19th. The
Yes.
next person we're going to have Glenn Bottis back, who is
Yes.
a bit of a paramystic as well,
He
right?
really is. Yeah, he's amazing, and he's one of my dearest friends. But he's also one of those, like he does a weekly forecast that he releases on YouTube and I don't know all the channels, right? Like all the social media. He puts out the forecast, and every week that I've been listening to it for the last I don't know how many months, it's been dead on accurate.
Yeah. He's got such a great voice too,
Yeah,
and
he really
it's
does.
subtle and
Yeah. Well, the English accent doesn't hurt.
right, exactly. To us
But he does
boring
have
Americans.
but he does have a great quality to his voice as well.
He
So
does. Yeah.
it's been a really
And
great delivery. He can deliver with intensity in 1 second and humor the next. And yeah, it's just amazing how he does that.
a lot of really good things happening.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm convinced that before you can put something new in your cup, you know, it's the doors closing. When a door closes, yeah, there's another one or two or three opening up behind
Right.
that.
Right. And part
And
of the reason that we're backing down on the schedule too is that you're retired. You don't want to have to work every week. Good for you.
well,
Seriously, good for you
I,
because you've been working hard your whole life.
yeah,
And it's really nice that you can take the time now to do the show because you want to do it
yes.
and because it's something that you enjoy. But when we do it too often, it becomes a burden. I get that. So,
Mhm.
and you have a new grandbaby to enjoy. So,
Oh,
you have a whole bunch of cool
I
stuff you want to play with in your
do.
life.
And
So
gosh, and I'm going to be babysitting for him 1 day a week.
awesome.
So, yeah, I have things to do, Christina. I
I
know
know
that
you do.
surprises, but
Yeah.
he's just adorable. And honestly, I'm not saying that because he's my grandson. And maybe I am. I don't know because I've never been a grandmother. I don't know. But he's just he's a beautiful kid. And
Mhm.
he's got this wonderful glowing personality to him at such a young age. And they're just so sparkly and oh, and he's just a cutie. So I look forward to that. But I agree. At this stage of the game, I get to think about things that I want to do rather than the things I have to do.
Right.
And it was my idea to, although, the kids did ask if I wanted to watch him 1 day a week. And I really had to think hard about that, um, or as many days as I wanted to watch him. But um, he spent the night here over a weekend one time. And when he left, and I thought, this is such an opportunity to watch him grow and to learn and to really have an influence over his life or watch him grow up
Right.
and see what he's doing.
Right.
Um, and I thought what an opportunity that was. So I said yes to the
That is
offer.
amazing too. And as a grandparent, because we have my grandson several days a week for a few hours, and he changes every day.
Yeah.
Every single day, something is new, and so the whole world is amazing to them. And when I had my own kids, I was so much in survival mode that I kind
Yeah.
of missed that whole thing.
Yeah.
It went
Right.
right past me. So now I have the opportunity, like you, to watch him grow and change every day. And in those early years, every day is different.
Well, think about when they're born, 6 pound, 7 pound, 8 pound, and then they get to in the first year, they like almost triple their weight and their
Yep.
size. How miraculous that is that that kind of growth comes so quickly. And if you're not paying attention, you miss it.
Right.
And I agree. When you're a new parent too, you don't really know what you're doing and you're trying to do the best that you can. And uh, we miss part of that's one of the things I'm looking forward to too. I can watch this with awe rather than, oh my God, now what do I have to do? Because my kids, need socks or diapers or formula and where are we going to get the money? And oh, now they have to go to school. And you really are in just survival mode. And
It's interesting after having kids in school, each one for 18 years, for a total of 25 years because of the age difference in my kids. It took 3 or 4 years of not having to do school shopping to get out of that routine. Like it was kind of crazy. It was like, wow, okay, I don't actually have to do that this year. School fees? Mm-mm.
oh,
Even have to
yeah.
think about it,
Boy.
So yeah, it is. And then when you're getting into it on the other end, everything is scary to some degree, because you don't know what you're doing. You've never done it before. And it's like, what if I make a mistake?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, the
Yeah,
nice thing about that is your kids don't know if it's right or wrong either. They just agree or disagree.
right,
Some of them just do it because they were told to do it.
right,
I
exactly.
I was one of those obedient children only because I've watched four of them above me, ahead of me, grow up, and I took copious amounts of notes because my mother was, trying to run the household in an efficient manner with four kids that were everywhere. And so I made a lot of notes going, don't do that. That's not a good thing to do. You're going to get yelled at for that. So I was quite obedient because I saw the consequences of what everybody else did.
Well, you learn from other people's mistakes. There's some wisdom in that.
Is that wisdom?
I think it
Is that
is.
observance?
I think it's both.
Oh,
It's being wise enough to observe.
mm. Well, it was loud enough to pay attention to, that's for sure. Gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway. Um, so what else should we talk about? We already talked about our um, going to the first and third Mondays. We
Mhm.
talked about energy medicine. We talked about your brand new opportunities.
Yeah.
And gosh, the summer is just whizzing by. It's
The whole year is
state.
just whizzing by. Like, how are we in the second week of August? It
I
was
don't know
just
the
4th of
last.
July last week. Like,
Uh,
how did this happen? Yeah, I know. It's
it's
crazy.
amazing. So we did promise that we wouldn't take up a whole hour this time because we knew that we were going to make some announcements and tell you that we have some upcoming guests. We have Glenn Bottis coming back and we have Marcus Casanich coming back.
Right.
And that being said, we will certainly keep in touch with y'all. One of the other things I wanted to ask our viewers is if you have an idea, um, let us know what you want to talk about. Let us know what you want us to talk about. And let us know if you think we're talking too much because yeah, I've
There's
heard
that.
that, some people are really organized and they like to know what the talk is going to be about. And if they don't know what it's going to be about, then they get frustrated because they have to listen to it. But then there's other people who love that. And
Right.
so we really don't want to change our platform because this is what we do.
It's what
Um,
works for us. Yeah.
yeah, if I don't know if I have to be a school teacher or whatever and go through a lesson every day, that's going to be disappointing for me because I'm just not one of those people that
Well, and that's
goes in
not
the
fun.
box early. Yeah,
Right.
it's
And
not
that's
fun.
not fun. What we decided, and I think we've already said this, but I'm going to say it again. What we decided when we started this podcast or vodcast or whatever it is we're doing here,
This.
so we
Yeah,
were only going to do it as long as we were having fun with it.
right.
So if we have to come up with some kind of a rigid format to teach, I'm not into that. That's not what we're here for. That's not what we decided to do.
I
So
agree. I agree.
so we're going to have fun with it, and if you want to contribute to the fun, please feel free to send us some topics. If you would like to be a guest, let us know. We're not going after, just famous people here like Glenn or Marcus who have their own fame in their own little worlds. We,
Right.
if you have something you want to share and you want to be a guest on our show, by all means, let us know. We're happy to talk to you about it.
We do enjoy just shooting the breeze.
Hmm.
So that being said, you guys make sure that you subscribe to our channel so that you can receive the newer episodes when they drop.
Hmm.
You can always go back and listen to them if you have time and or when you have time. And subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you share these things with other people if you think there's an episode that you love and information. But that being said, thank you all for continuing to listen to us, and we appreciate you giving us your time and effort. And
Absolutely.
don't hesitate to interact with us because you know what? We're a lot of fun for the most
We
part.
are. We are.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are. We are a lot of fun. And I love that we're a lot of fun because both of us have done the heavy work
Uh,
of releasing the stuff that made us not fun.
right, right. I, mm. You
Yeah.
know, speaking of that, I know that I've talked a few times about the job that I had for 7 years that I hated.
Hmm.
And it came into my awareness today that the reason that I did that, because I've been doing all this shadow work, was part of one of my uh, attributes, if you want to call it that. Part of me is a bit of a martyr. I always did things so that I would, feel useful and whatnot. And
Hmm.
I learned after 7 years in that job that I don't want to be a martyr anymore. I don't want to do things for other people because I'm a martyr, because I want to take care of somebody. I want to take care of me now, and I
Hmm.
want to do things that I want to do.
And you know, when I take care of other people, it's because I want to and because I love
Yes.
them, and not
Yeah.
because I'm always saying yes to things I don't want to do, you
You
know?
know, I have a friend that is struggling a little bit these days, and I showed him a little bit of, we had a talk, and we really don't know each other very well. And he said to me, "So what do you do? What type of stuff do you do? You never talk about it. You don't tell anybody about it. And because I think you know a lot of stuff, and I just don't know what you do." So I was telling him my background and the many classes that I've taken and some of the experiences and the magic that I've learned. And uh, all of a sudden, it just started to come to me. And I said, "Would you lay down on the floor? Because I see something." And pretty soon I'm doing healing. He said, "Perhaps you should be doing this." And I said, "Yeah, I don't want a job." And he said, "But if people are calling on you to heal them and they come to you for some sort of release, wouldn't you want to help them?" Well, that's the thing. If you come to me, if you ask me, "Can I help you?" I can help you, and
Hmm.
I will do that. But I don't want to put out my shingle and, open up the door to have clients every hour all day
Right.
long. But I do love helping people, and I do love healing because it's really a surprise of how that affects people, the energy. You never really know. You never know how it's going to
Right.
be interpreted in their body. And some of it is just really fun. And even more than that, it's really profound when something happens that you did to another client, um, that actually provokes such a release. And they are so happy that they cry.
Yeah.
What a great thing that is. So yeah, I'm out there, but I don't want to put a shingle out. If someone calls me for help, I'll help
Hmm.
because I love it,
Right.
because God sent them to me then,
Right.
because I'm asking him.
You know, it's interesting while you were talking about that, just in the last few seconds, both of our cameras went into and out of focus.
Oh, I saw yours. I didn't see mine.
Yeah, yours went right after mine.
Oh, and I just got the chills.
I know, right?
Jeez.
I'm sitting here covered in goosebumps. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's a beautiful thing. And honestly, you are at the point of your life where you do what you want to do.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
waited all this time to do this. When I
Yeah.
was working a couple of jobs and doing some outside work on the side, some my outside shuffle kind of thing. I just remember myself saying, when I retire or when I have time, I'm going to do that. And it just seemed like whatever else I was doing was always half-assed. I could never really focus on it enough to do something so perfect or profound that it worked out. It started to work and then it stopped, and it started and stopped, and you got good at one thing and something else happened. So now I can do it. And this is what I want to do. And I want to travel. I just, to me, there's just nothing better than being in nature, um, and absorbing all of that energy. That's where the healing is
Right.
for me.
I love that. I love that. I have been like I wasn't willing to wait for the travel bug until I retired, so I figured out a way to travel and work at the same time.
Things just work out the way they're supposed to work out.
Exactly. Exactly.
So,
Well,
okay,
thank you.
Christina.
Yeah, thank you everyone for your love and support while we were doing this, and for, I hope that people get something from just our honesty and our willingness to say what we were doing was working, it was okay, but we're going to try something different because now that's what we need. And for people to be able to just go with the flow of their lives. I just think it's so important to learn how to go with the flow of your life. And if we can provide that by being an example of flow, I love it. I'm there for it.
Yeah, if you need help, reach out. Don't hesitate to reach out and ask someone for help. And coming from me, I'm telling you, I don't ask many people for help. So, uh, part of the reason, I think, Christina, I think you've called me wise. I think part of the reason that I'm wise is because I've made so many mistakes
Well,
and,
that's what creates wisdom, right?
mm, well, yeah,
Yeah.
or a bump on the head.
How many
slap on
knocks
the
on the head do you need before you move out of the way?
right,
Big chip
exactly.
then.
Gosh.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well,
Anyway,
thank you again, everyone, and we will be back next week with Mr. Glenn Bottis.
take care.
Bye-bye.
Reach